You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and white sports fans, we're going to be talking about the Tokyo Olympics that are going on right now, folks. This can actually be an all-time disaster when it comes to the TV ratings. Now, I fully expect this to actually happen. I fully expect these TV ratings to be the worst, probably of all time, definitely of the 21st century here, because it's just simple for me. When you get woke, you will go broke. There's already been protesting by athletes at the games and fans. When you see that, the ratings will decrease, i.e. the NBA, Major League Baseball, and also the NFL. The ratings were down all last year for those particular sports. And if you want to take out 2020 because of the virus, the NBA finals were down over 50% from 2019. It was an epic disaster because when you get woke, you will go broke. Now, it's not just people on the right actually saying that these ratings are going to be all-time low. It's also people on the left as well. Because I got an article here from CNN. Yes, that CNN, who's pretty much confirming the same thing that people on the right are saying too, that the ratings will be down. Now, it does differ in why the ratings are down. So let's dive into this, guys. This is from the Daily Wire. Olympic ratings set to crash. Research suggests get woke, go broke, effect partly to blame report. So partly to blame. But this is not a surprise because people are just not interested in this game, in these Olympics, I should say. It says here last week, marketing research firm Zeta Global polled Americans about the Olympics and discovered the majority aren't excited to watch the games this year. Quote, more than 60% of Americans were unable to express excitement or interest in the summer games, and at least 45% of Americans confirm they are not looking forward to the games in any capacity, the company found. This led it to predict this year's Olympics will be the lowest watched of the 21st century. Meanwhile, another research group, Ipsos, conducted polling on Olympics enthusiasm by party affiliation and discovered that only 29% of Republicans are interested in watching the games compared to 39% of Democrats. Now think of that, folks. Look at that. Only 39% of Democrats want to watch the games because even Democrats don't even really want to see the wokeness in sports. They don't want to see all the protesting. It also found that fewer than a third of Americans, 32%, believe that Olympic athletes should be allowed to engage in political protests, including kneeling or wearing messages on their uniforms. Finally, Ipsos survey showed a majority of those polled feel that a positive performance from U.S. athletes generally makes them proud to be American. Now, interesting right here. Fewer than a third of Americans believe that Olympic athletes should be allowed to engage in political protests. So the overwhelming majority don't want to see any of this. But what have we seen? We saw our U.S. women's national soccer team kneeling, and they got their butts kicked in their first game. They lost 3-0. And yes, Megan Rapinoe is on that team. It says here, so what happens when the athletes indicate that they aren't proud to be Americans and defy their fellow citizens' wishes for a political-free international sporting event, as the U.S. women's soccer team did when they knelt in support of BLM, or as hammer thrower Gwen Berry did when she turned her back on the American flag during the anthem. Zeta's prediction of the ratings free fall comes true. Now, I'm pretty sure almost nobody is going to be rooting for Gwen Berry. I mean, she's made it pretty clear about how she actually feels about the anthem. She said it doesn't represent black people, and she's supposed to be representing this country. I mean, I really have no interest whatsoever in watching any of these games because I just don't want the politics in sports. Now, let's jump over here to CNN. They're even saying this may be the lowest rated Olympics ever. NBC shouldn't sweat it. Now, they're basically saying coming to the same conclusion as the Daily Wire. Now, of course, Daily Wire is on the right and CNN is on the left. But they both came to the same conclusion, no matter how either side tries to spin it. These Olympics are going to be terrible for TV. Absolutely terrible for TV. Now, they go into their good news, bad news thing, but here on CNN, they're talking about TV ratings are down. Now, we know when it comes to sports, it is definitely down. Definitely down. But one sports ratings that did not go down, guess what? It was the UFC, Dana White. Why did the UFC ratings relatively stay the same? Because they did not get political. They didn't get woke and go broke and start alienating their fans. And plus, Dana White absolutely knows what he's doing when it comes to running the UFC. Adam Silver has run the NBA into the ground. Roger Goodell, the NFL is going to double down even harder on social justice starting this season. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Rob Manfred moved the All-Star game out of Atlanta, Georgia because of politics. He bent the knee to the leftists out there. But it says here on CNN, the decline in TV ratings isn't new. TV viewership for the 2016 Rio Olympics fell roughly 18% from 2012 London Games. Now, yes, that's down, but I'm expecting a much more massive drop on these Olympics. I mean, yeah, I believe CNN here when they say that the Rio Olympics were down 18%. But you know what? That's not necessarily falling off a cliff, like the NBA Finals did. Remember the NBA Finals dropped to historic lows? I mean, the LeBron Lakers NBA Finals, that had somewhere around, on average, 5 or 6 million people watching. That was down from like 19 million the year before. And that was with a team from Canada playing. Okay? Now, of course, CNN is going to use the virus also as an excuse. I never really bought into that because the virus really doesn't affect you actually watching TV, if you ask me. Okay? That's just me. But it says good news, NBC knows what it's doing because they're actually talking about how people have access to other platforms to actually watch the games. So they're just taking a different spin on what the Daily Wire is already saying. Daily Wire is saying, get woke, go broke. CNN is just saying that, oh, people are just tuning out because of this, that, and this. And it has nothing to do with the politics. Now, we know that politics and sports do not mix. It doesn't mix, and it tunes people out, folks. I mean, why did I actually stop watching the NBA? I've stopped watching the NBA because they got political. They started kneeling for the anthem. I mean, even when the whole China thing went down with Daryl Morey, I didn't necessarily stop watching the NBA. But when they got in that bubble, they made it crystal clear that they wanted to be divisive. So I said, all right, I'm tuning out. I'm not going to watch it. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, the ratings for the Olympics not looking good. Even CNN is saying this is going to be a disaster. Daily Wire, same way. They're both saying this Olympics is going to be the lowest rated of all time. They're just giving different reasons. Regardless, my opinion on it is you get woke, you go broke, and you guys already know how that works out. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.